Tonight, we open a file they never wanted you to see. A file buried under decades of silence, secrecy, and shadows. This is the story of Project MK Ultra, the CIA's darkest secret. Let me take you back to a time when paranoia ruled the world. The Cold War, the era of spies, nuclear threats, and psychological warfare. In the early 1950s, the CIA launched a project so sinister, so unthinkable, that many believed it was just another conspiracy theory. They called it MKULTRA. But this wasn't fiction. It was real. And its victims were real, too. MKULTRA wasn't just about gathering intelligence. It was about controlling minds. Under the guise of national security, the CIA began experimenting on human subjects, most of them unaware. They used LSD, electroshock therapy, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and even sexual abuse to try and unlock the secrets of the human brain. They wanted to create a truth serum, a human robot, an assassin who kills on command and forgets everything. Hospitals, prisons, universities became silent laboratories. Some of the experiments were carried out on mental patients, prisoners, and even CIA employees. The mastermind, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, a man who became known as the Black Sorcerer of the CIA. He imported drugs, tortured minds, erased identities, all in the name of freedom. But the horror didn't end in the lab. The people were permanently damaged. Some lost their memories, some lost their minds, and some lost their lives. One name stands out: Frank Olson, a government scientist who fell or was pushed from a 13th-story window after being secretly dosed with LSD. The CIA called it a suicide. His family called it murder. For years, MKULTRA was denied, classified, buried, until 1975, when a congressional investigation cracked it wide open. The Church Committee exposed over 149 sub-projects tied to mind control, chemical interrogation, and behavior modification. But even then, most of the documents were destroyed. The full truth was never revealed. So here's the question. If this was happening in the 1950s, what are they doing now? MKULTRA wasn't just an experiment. It was a warning, a dark reminder that when power goes unchecked, the human mind becomes the battlefield. And tonight, we're just beginning to understand the damage that was done. This is the Black Dossier. This is MKULTRA, and the echoes of its horrors are still with us. But if you think mind control was only an American experiment, you're wrong. Very wrong. Because in the East, another file was being written, and this one was written in Mandarin. Welcome to China's silent war, a war for the human mind. And this time, the battlefield is everywhere. Let's go behind the walls of the People's Republic of China, a nation with cutting-edge technology, powerful surveillance systems, and a vision of total control, but not just over actions, not just over speech. They wanted to shape thoughts. Enter China's modern mind control agenda in the sprawling region of Xinjiang, home to the Uyghur Muslim minority. Thousands, no, millions were subjected to re-education camps. On the surface, vocational training. In reality, a psychological operation, sleep deprivation, forced confessions, brainwashing, and endless propaganda pumped through screens, loudspeakers, and classrooms. A tactic perfected not just with fear, but with technology. China is using AI, facial recognition, and big data to monitor behavior and predict rebellion before it even begins. They call it predictive policing. But make no mistake, This is digital thought control, but it doesn't stop in Xinjiang. In schools across China, children wear smart headbands that monitor brainwaves in real time. Teachers receive reports. Is this student focused? Is he distracted? Is she thinking too much? The goal, to build a generation of obedient, optimized minds. Children, programmed like machines. And now China is exporting this technology to governments, to corporations, to your city. What started in prisons and classrooms is now in phones, in cameras, in your pocket. So let me ask you this. What's more dangerous? A weapon in your hand or a thought not your own? Because mind control no longer looks like needles, LSD, or secret chambers. It looks like an app, a camera, a harmless algorithmus. And while the West that remembers MK Ultra as a dark past, China is building MK Ultra 2.0 in real time. No torture, no blood, just silence. Because the most perfect control is when you don't even know you're being controlled. This is the next chapter in the Black Dossier. And trust me, the mind is the final frontier of power. They called it a Cold War. They called it psychological warfare. But what's coming is neither cold nor silent. This is the future of mind war. A war without bullets. A war where the enemy is already inside your head. Picture this. You wake up in the morning. You check your phone. It knows your mood. Your voice assistant not only listens, it suggests thoughts. It tells you what to buy, what to believe, who to trust. And you don't question it, because it sounds like you, because it feels right. That is the first phase of control, not through fear, but comfort. Governments and corporations will no longer need to chase rebels. They will program compliance. New technology, neural implants, brain-to-cloud interfaces, synthetic telepathy is already in development. And soon, they won't just read your thoughts. They will write them. The battlefield of the future, not outer space, not cyberspace, but neurospace. The invisible war to own the spark of your consciousness. Imagine political control without prisons. Just a thought flag. You think something forbidden, you're locked out of your bank account. Your digital ID freezes. Your car doesn't start. You didn't shout. You didn't protest. You just thought wrong. And that was enough. In the name of safety, they will install chips to monitor health. In the name of progress, they will link your mind to the cloud. And in the name of peace, they will silence the rebel before he even knows he is one. And the worst part, you'll believe it was your idea. You'll say, I'm just being smart. I'm just being careful. I'm free. But you won't be, because the perfect prison has no walls, and the perfect slave thinks he's free. So when we talk about MK Ultra, about China's silent mind war, remember this. Those were just the rehearsals. The real show is coming. And it's called Mind War, the Final Control. This is not science fiction. This is not a distant future. This is tomorrow's news that someone already wrote today.